Well, as I reported a few weeks ago, the PS4 and the PS3 had an issue that I referred to as the time bomb issue. And that was where if you remove the CMOS battery or if the CMOS battery died, then you would no longer be able to play those games that you had purchased. Now on the PS3, that was just digital games. And on the PS4, that was both digital and disc-based games. And we'd known about this issue for quite some time, but Sony had recently announced that they were going to close the PSN stores for the PS3, PSP, and Vita, and obviously people started to talk about this issue again. Now it looks like somebody has tested this with the PS5 console, and I'm very happy to report that the same issue exists on the PS5. Now that's obviously sarcasm. Now, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I cover a lot of PC and console news, but I also cover things from a pro-consumerist angle. So, by the looks of things, this story is really just getting started. Now, a Cbomb obviously has nothing to do with inappropriate language like an F-bomb. It refers to the CMOS battery because once that dies out in the PS5, then it will require a check to sync up the time between the console and the Sony servers, and without this check, it will no longer run your games. Now, let's go straight to this IGN article from Rishi Alwani, and they're reporting that a PS5 owner has taken apart their PS5 and replaced their CMOS battery to test if the same issue exists on the PS4. The article reads, according to a tweet from noted video game preservationist group Does It Play, the PS5 won't play games if its clock battery, also known as CMOS, dies, and you aren't able to connect to Sony servers. What this means is, even if you are able to replace the PS5 CMOS, you will still be locked out of your games when Sony decides to shut off servers. Initial testing suggests that this impacts digital games at the moment, though if it's anything like the PS4, you can expect physical games to be affected as well. This is being referred by the community as Cbomb. Now, there have been videos online confirming the PS4 and the PS3 have this issue, and it really is as simple as just opening up the PS4, removing the CMOS battery, removing the internet connection from the console, and then trying to run a disc or digital game. The console will come back with the error CE-30391-6 as it tries to connect to the internet to sync the internal clock. The internal clock is used by the console to sync trophies and also PS Plus games. Technically, without this check, you would be able to play your PS Plus games forever, which is why Sony have designed the console to have this check in place. Now, at the moment, the test has only been done with digital games. It appears the user who tested it only had digital games, but given what we know on the PS4, that neither disc-based games or digital games work, expect that the same design in the PS5, unless proven otherwise. The PS3, on the other hand, even with the CMOS battery death, only affects digital games, and disc-based games were unaffected. So if I were to guess, that's because games were still played off the disc, whereas on the PS4, both disc-based games and digital games were played off the hard drive, so it's very likely they are treated identically. And recently, rare PS3 games have been going up in price as a result of this. So I thought Mudaha from Ordinary Gamers had an interesting tweet today. He tweeted, "This is already sounding like bad news for those who picked up a digital PS5. And I would say that because both digital and disc-based games are treated the same by the console, the problem exists for the disc-based console as well. And of course, if it's ever jailbroken, I'd expect both systems to bypass a server check in some way." Now, it appears in the last 3 weeks, some of the bigger channels have now picked up on this issue like Review Tech USA and Spawnwave, so hopefully it will gain more traction. But at this stage, Sony has had 3 or 4 weeks to respond, has not said anything about the issue, mostly because it's designed to do this on purpose, and also because public acknowledgement of this would probably be bad PR. After all, they were the ones who promoted disc-based sharing and no online activations while marketing the console to huge cheers in the audience.
The PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever.
If you're wondering what it's like on the Microsoft side, well, the systems have an online activation check on the console. So once the servers get switched off, you're left with the same issue as Sony. As for Nintendo, well, you can still play games off cartridges. So if worse comes to worse, the digital games don't play without a server check, you can always stick with your physical copies. But there's still the issue where none of the games purchased off their previous consoles carry across to the new hardware. Now, apparently this issue is an easy fix on Sony's end, so game preservationist groups like Does It Play have been trying to get everyone to put pressure on Sony and other media outlets out there. So if you care about this issue, make sure to let your favorite YouTuber or influencer know so they can talk about it. Now, Lance McDonald, who you may know as the creator of the Bloodborne 60 FPS mod, says, however, the fact that all games fail to launch is because they try to set up their trophy list when you boot them, and that causes a crash and logout. Sony should probably fix that. Just put a clock not set, no trophies will be available message, and let us play without them. So that sounds like an easy fix, and let's hope they implement something like that. But, I think it could be a little bit more problematic because Sony is trying to look after pretty much everyone who designs games on their platform. So, there may be cases where a game could break if the internal clock is not right. So something like an Animal Crossing, which I know is not on PlayStation, but something like that, which requires the internal clock for the game events, might actually break down if that were the case. All right, that's going to be it for this one. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts on this issue. And if you like this video, make sure to click the like button, also to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next one.